Greetings, this is Thumbs United. This is our episode 3 of Heavy Rain, the Let's Play. There's going to be 5 episodes in this series. So, here we go. It's been a while since I recorded. It's been about maybe a month and a half since I recorded the episode 2 Let's Play. I've just been busy and I haven't, not that I didn't feel like doing it, but I have had a lot of other things to deal with, and so it kept getting pushed back. But thanks to the power of being pre-recorded, there should be no gap in release. So, today was a busy day. I woke up, I made my coffee, and then while I was waiting for the coffee to kick in, I went to play some Halo. It was, they really did a good job at with the Master Chief Collection, because that is the only reason why I bought an Xbox. I really like the PlayStation 4. And in a lot of ways, I think the PlayStation 4 is better, and they have better exclusives. But I'm a Halo person, and I have to have my Halo. And so it's like, And the remaster is really good. There's some things that I'm going to talk about later on that I don't like about the remaster, and there were like actual features they took out of some of the other games. But for the most part, I love that I can just go from mission to mission in any one of the 4 Halos, including ODST. And so now I never played in order. There's like 5 missions I really enjoy and I go back. But that's a different story. So after I played a little Halo, I went and I had to clean out the garage. I mean, it's been slowly getting more messier and messier, and we have a new lawnmower, so I had to clean out to make space for it. Because it fits in the garage right now, but you have to really carefully park it in. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to clear out space. Because you could park it easily, just going straight in, but it was getting difficult to reverse out. So I had to fix that. And then the place where I work, my little workshop, had been getting messy, so I had to put away the tools I don't use. And there were a lot of tools I had out that I was just like, it's been 2 or 3 years since I used them, so I packed them up and put them away. And then the joke of it is, our garage floods when there's a lot of rain, and there's been a ton of rain where I live. And so I was looking for the drain in the garage, because our garage has a drain. And so I was like, why isn't it draining? Because it was flooding out there. It's a 4 carport garage, but it only one of the ports floods. And so what was unusual is it was flooding in a different place. So I was looking for the drain, and then I finally found the drain, and I thought it would be submerged, but no, it was just way farther over than I thought, and there was nothing on top of it. And so now what I think has happened is the ground is slightly shifted, and so now the drain is actually higher up than the rest of the garage, so the water just floods to the side. It's
glass, broken glass, sharp as a razor. Impossible to go back. I'm gonna have to crawl through it slowly so I don't tear up my arms.
Or we have the rug doctor.
Stupid fucking pipe! And Sean is gonna die because of me!
Or the shop vac with the rug doctor.
I've got to get out of here. There's got to be a way out.
Because there's no way it can get out. It's just going to sit there forever. So that part kind of sucks. And then also, we had some rugs in the basement in our house. It floods a lot. And so we have these rugs, but they're like industrial rugs. And so they just big, like heavy duty. And it's just so that you don't slip.
The match flame indicates where the fresh air comes from. All I have to do is follow the wind.
Finished. But for a long time ago, we took them out because it flooded and they were all wet. And so what we did was I took the power washer and I just power washed the rugs, and that cleaned it out very well. But then I left them outside to dry, and then I put them in the garage because they were dry. But the rest of the basement was still flooded, so I couldn't take them in. And blah blah blah. So anyway, they've been sitting in the garage forever. And so the joke of it is the garage then flood, and so they're wet again. So then I had to pull them out and I power washed them again. They were so dirty. It was just like, oh my god, where did you get all this dirt from? But I've been kind of parking the lawnmower on top of it, so I know where the dirt came from. So it was kind of a long day cleaning the garage for the first place. And then so I cleaned the garage, and then but before that we went on vacation. It wasn't really a vacation, it was like a working vacation kind of, but we drove to California and to see my extended family. Right now we're taking care of my grandmother, and so we had to take her to see all the rest of the family because, they want to see her. But the real reason was because it was my cousin's child. They were having a baptism, and so we were taking her to go see that. And that's the whole story within itself. I'm not going to tell that one. Maybe later. But so we went on vacation for 2 weeks, and it was interesting. It was really stressful, but it was funny because some of the times it was like, okay, you get to relax, but then everybody wants to come over, or they say they want to come over, but then they never come over at the time they say they're going to come over, and so it's just so ridiculous. Just the planning of everyone else, because they just assume you're all you're going to stay at the house the entire time, and it's like, no, we have things to do. You can come over. When you say you come over. But we got to see everyone at the beginning because there was a baptism.
Looks like I'm not the first to come this way.
And so then there was
this guy never found a way out.
Lunch, dinner after it. And so we saw all the family members at that. So that was the second day we got there. We got there originally at like 11 o'clock at night. And so then the next day with the baptism and then the dinner, it was like, oh good, we already saw everyone, so no one can complain that they didn't see anyone else there. And so that part was good. And like I said, just waiting for people to show up. That was the stressful part, because there's some people in my family that I don't really want to deal with. Mainly because they get like really grumpy, really angry, and it's just over silliness. And sometimes they just come to be grumpy. It's like there's nothing you could have done to warrant the grumpiness. So it's just it's really stressful. I used to live in California with my grandmother because I would take care of her, and I took care of her for a year, and then I had to come back for school because I took a year off, but I would do like online courses with my college, so it wasn't exactly a year off, but it wasn't a full workload. And then there was just too many classes I had to take in person that weren't offered as online courses, and so then we had to come back. And then, now that's the joke of it. Then I come back to do it, and then I get another job. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait another semester. And I waited a semester, and then there weren't enough people to sign up for the class. The class was canceled that I needed. And the joke of it is, I am like 9 or less credits. There's like 3 classes I have to take.
A dead end. I'm gonna die in here if I don't find a way out soon.
Oh my goodness. I just want to get it over with.
The match flame
And before,
indicates where the fresh air comes
I'm not
from.
going to graduation.
All I have to do is follow the wind.
Well, one, I kind of have social anxiety. And having been to the graduation, I was like, I don't want to be with that many people. I mean, just the people graduating, because it's a community college, and then they also bring in a four-year college, and they share the same stadium, so you all graduate together. And it's just like, But now that it's been so long, it's like I have to go to graduation just so that I have a moment where she's like, it's done. Don't have to worry about this degree anymore. And then I have to go to a four-year college. But a lot of my credits will transfer over. And so I'm hoping I get into the University of Michigan. And that's kind of where I plan to go. Right now my degree is in application development, and so it's application development for computer information systems.
Right.
But it mainly just focuses on
I don't really have any choice.
Developing applications and creating programs and things like that. Because I didn't really like the information system was focused mainly on database and database administration, and I wanted something that was more programming. So that's why I went with application development over computer information systems. And so I would, if it was at a four-year college, I could be computer science degree, but they don't offer the computer science degree. They only offer application development and computer information systems. They offer a whole bunch of other programs like network security and other things, but none of those really interested me. So while I was on vacation, I kind of had there was a lot of things to do, but occasionally we have like a day or two free. And so one of the things we did was we walked around downtown LA, and we walked far. We walked from like the Disney concert hall to the farmers market in the Sun area of LA, and we saw the place where it's called the Brooks. The Bradbury. It's called the Bradbury, and so that was the place where they filmed a lot of movies, but the most famous one was Blade Runner. There's a famous fight scene in there. So that was really cool. But before, you could go and walk around the whole thing, but now it's like shut off to visitors, so you can only go on the stairs to like half a level up. It's still pretty cool. So I got a lot of nice photos, and I took both 35mm and I did some 3D photos of downtown LA. And so that was nice. I'm trying to think of what else is there. We ate at a couple of good infantry restaurants. That was nice. And I forgot the name of it, but when we went to downtown, there was this really nice crepe place. And so we got some crepes, and that was good. What else did we do? I guess it was mostly a lot of work. And I think that was it. I mean, there's other stuff that I'm going to show. It's going to come to the site, quotations.com, and I'll be showing it on video, so I don't want to spoil too much of it. Oh, but there was one time, another day we had off. We were there for 2 weeks. And so this one time we were so close to going to Harry Potter Land at Universal Studios Hollywood, and we just fell flat because it kind of felt shady. My I like Harry Potter a lot, but my sister loved Harry Potter even more, and so it was just like, we weren't going with them, it was just my mom and I and my dad, and so it kind of felt shady to go without them. So we decided, But that stuff's expensive. Oh my goodness. So for like a 1-day ticket, it was like $70. But for a 2-day ticket, it was like $110, and that's with like a Costco. At Costco, they sell like the tickets you can get, so it's a reduced price. And so maybe do that. But we decided not to go, so we didn't get them. But then, also while we were at Costco, we found out that they had the AMC cards, and so we got them. There was saw a lot of movies. It came as a 4-pack, and so no, that's not right. It came as, I don't remember the pack size. It was like 6 or something, because we could see like 3 sets of movies, and then we ended up not using them because my dad just paid for them. So I still have like 6 movie vouchers to go see anything at any AMC. So I'm saving it all up. So then we drove to California, and so when we drove, we had 3 days to get there, and we got there on time. I mean, we wanted to get there a little earlier, like maybe 3 p.m. But we ended up getting there at 11 at night. And so then by the time we unpacked the car, we just told my grandmother to go straight to bed because there was nothing she could do. So she went to bed, and then we unloaded the car, and by the time we unloaded the car, it was like 1 in the morning. But driving there, it only took us 3 days, which is pretty good, because we stopped to visit my sister in Chicago. So that was nice. And it was too funny because we went to Whole Foods, and my mom was raving about the jackfruit taco they do, and so I was like, okay, we'll taste it. And so then we get there, and the taco stand that they have in Whole Foods, and he was like, oh, do you want anything? And I was like, oh, we're just looking at your menu. And so then we asked him, do you have any jackfruit tacos? He was like, no, I'm sold out of all tacos, unless you want bean tacos. And so then we were like, what? We drove 4 hours to come see this. Come taste the jackfruit. I mean, we didn't really drive 4 hours for the jackfruit. We drove 4 hours for it to San Francisco. And so then we're like, oh, well, we'll see. And so we go look around the buffet park. And we come back, and it hasn't even been 5 minutes. It's been like 2 minutes. Because the buffet was right next to the taco stand. So we come back, and we're like, okay, we'll get your bean tacos. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, we're closed. And we were like, what? Are you kidding me? You're closed? And so they close all their food, like the custom food section, kind of the stands, it all closed at like 8 p.m. or so. And we were like, what? And it's like, why didn't you tell us before when you told us about the tacos and everything else? And I thought that was too funny. So then we basically ended up getting like stuff in the buffet, and some of it was good and some of it was bad. They're not really bad, it was just like, okay. I got some falafels, and the advertising was being gluten free, which they should be, but they were like really dry. And so I was like giving them hummus, and like nothing could help them. And then Whole Foods used that really good grape leaves, but they were like, the grape leaves are at the buffet section. And so I got these prepackaged ones, but I didn't see any out. And they weren't so good either. And so it was like kind of a miss. It wasn't too good of a Whole Foods. And so after the trip, after the 2 weeks in California, we drove back. It took us forever to drive back, mainly because we had to do a lot of pit stops because my grandmother, we also took our dogs, so we had to do pit stops for them every couple of hours. And so it took us think it took us 5 days. Like a solid 5 days to come back. It might have been 6 days. It all starts to blur together, but trying to think. Oh, we get into the hotel really late, and then of course we sleep in, and then we tried to only drive during the day, and so that was the difficult part. And 2, it was finding hotels that would allow our dog. Yeah, there were some hotels where there was no problem with the hotel, but some of the people staying at the hotel, it was just like, oh my goodness. We have 2 Newfoundlands, and one of them is a rescue new, so she's like really hyper. I mean, she's a good dog, but she doesn't really have manners, and she just wants to be with everyone. And she's really high energy, like, and that's kind of unusual for a Newf, but she she has no manners, and she loves food. But anyway, so we're on the 2nd floor, and we usually ask for the 1st floor when we have the dogs, but we're on the 2nd floor this time, and so we take them up the stairs, and then there's like this one drunk person, and they're coming by, and they're like, oh, it's a dog, and they're like waving at the dog. And so of course our rescue dog, her name's Zoe, is like pulling my mom, and she's trying to say hello to this person who's like waving at her, and we're like, we just want to go to our room. And so we're kind of waiting for the person to leave who's in the hallway, but she doesn't want to leave, and it's just like, so she finally gets to her room. And then we're like walking a little bit, and my mom drops the key, and then another group of people, it was like a couple, come by, and they're drunk, and they have like beer, and they're holding like a red plastic cup, and it's like, oh, that's so stereotypical, and it has beer in it, and they're like, oh, look, it's your dog, and they're like, oh, can we pass? But they're already standing like right next to her. I'm like, yes, just keep going. And so I didn't say it like that. I was like, yeah, you can pass, just keep. And so then they left, and she's like, oh my goodness. But that was too much. And that was like in Iowa. And so then it was funny because we take them potty right after we settled into the hotel room, and then right before they went to bed. And so when we come back from their last potty run, we hear this little dog, and he's yapping away.
Ethan,
and it's so
can
funny
you hear me?
Because he's yapping away, and so then as we pass, and then we go into our room, and the lady who owns the dog, sticks her head out the door to see who's going by, and she's like, who does that?
Arms look really bad.
I mean, people walking in the hallway all the time. Who goes out to check, what's going on outside? So that part was funny. And then she saw the dogs.
Burn marks on your chest?
Newfoundlands are pretty big. They're as big or bigger than St. Bernards, and so she's like, oh, you're barking at a big dog.
You've got a hell of a fever.
We were just coming into our room, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. So that part was funny. But the dogs did good on the trip.
I'm going to have to get your clothes off to disinfect those wounds.
And so when we came back, it was like a week and a half of being gone. And what I did was, when I mowed the lawn, I mowed it extra short. And then I was like, please don't be overgrown when we get back. But then we have this garden area, and there's a gate around it, so we can't get the bigger lawnmower. And so I was like, I'll leave it. And I just cut it at the regular length.
Those are serious burns.
It was like so high. That
I don't know if I can do anything for you.
The rest of the lawn looked great, but you can't. This garden part you can't see from any part of the street. So we're like, that's good. Nobody could see it. And so today I just mowed it, and oh my goodness, it was a lot of work. Because usually what I can do, and I have to use the push mower, is I can go across the garden and then turn around and come back. But do it in the lane over, so I only have to do each lane like once. But this time I had to go like
I'm no doctor, but
up
I'll
the
do what I
lane
can.
and then just come back down, because that was how much grass there was that it wouldn't cut it all going in one direction. So I had to do each lane twice. It took an hour and it took over 2 hours to do, of just going back and forth, and that part was difficult. And of course I did it. I started at, I was doing the garage first, and then by the time I got to mowing the lawn it was 2, and then around 3 it finished at 3:30, and so it was like really hot.
Your wounds are disinfected.
Where I live, high noon is actually around 3 to 4. That's the hottest time of the day.
Can't put on a bandage yet. Gotta treat the wounds first.
When I finished it looked really nice. I was like, oh, thank goodness. At least it looks good. Because there have been times when I've mowed and it's just like, I'll miss a couple of spots and it's just like, gotta go back and redo it. But not this time. Because I would have been like, I was ready to die by the time we got to the end of the garden.
That should ease the pain.
So before I left for California, there was the sale of Xbox games, and so there was a whole bunch of deals, and I ended up having to get gold because it was cheaper to get. Well, what happened was I had gold for 1 month because I needed it for a game capture I was doing, but then I canceled the subscription, so it wouldn't renew. And then, because I canceled it, Xbox was like, oh, we want you to have gold back. We'll give you this special deal of like 40% off for 3 months. And I was like, nope. And
that's all I can do.
Then when they had this Xbox sale,
feel?
I still had that option to get gold. And so it was
Ethan?
cheaper for me to get gold and get the 4 games
He's
I wanted
unconscious.
to. Because
Now I'll just
their
have to
sale
wait.
price, they were on sale.
And hope
but
he wakes
they
up.
were on sale for less money if I had gold. So I did it and got gold for 3 months, and then got the games, and I got Mass Effect Andromeda for $30. I got GTA 5 for $30, and then I got 3 other games, but they were all for under $15. One of them was Life is Strange. I think that one was $5 for the complete season. And then I got Saints Row 4 Re-Elected. And I'm starting to rebuy some of the games I already have on the PC, because right now my PC, all it does is render. Like, it renders 24/7. And so, and there's like no breaks, because I'm editing on another PC, and then once I finish editing on the other PC, I give it to the other one to render.
I've been better.
So it's just this endless cycle, and I edit a lot.
Was I out for long?
I edit
about
maybe
3 hours.
Maybe 3 hours of content.
Why the guardian angel act?
Every week, and
you
it's
don't
only
even know
going
me.
up.
When I was a child, I was always the one who used to fix my brothers up when they'd been fighting with the other kids on the block.
I've been playing it like crazy. Well, not like crazy, but there were a couple of times
suppose I like to
where
play the
would
guardian
for like
angel.
4 hours at a time, and it was a lot of fun. And that's the part that kills me, is in the media and on the social network, everyone was like ripping into this game, saying,
You
"Oh, it's so
said
terrible,
you were here
so
because
buggy, animation,
you're an insomniac?
bugs all over the place, and there's game glitches." And so I waited.
I've been going through a bit of a tough patch the last few months.
Maybe
It's the
4
kind of
months
stuff
since the
you
game
prefer
came
to
out.
forget.
So there have been a lot of patches, and
I do what I can to
and
live
I'm
with
aware
it,
that
but
the first launch of the game was really bad.
it's not easy.
But after all these patches, the game is really good, and I haven't had one animation bug. But I also did not do the
got some
default
kind of a
Sarah
problem?
writer. I did a custom Sarah writer.
Bigger
And so
than
I
you
don't
can
know if
possibly
the
imagine.
Custom characters have less bugs than the default.
You mixed up with the
default
mafia, owe
writers.
someone money, something like that.
No, but it's been a lot of fun.
Listen, I'm truly grateful for your help, but for your own sake,
I almost wish I could have paid.
I think it's better if you don't ask any questions
and supported it, but at the same time,
maybe I could help you.
No one can help me.
$30.
You've already done a lot, Madison.
Right.
But
I'm gonna go.
And there's like Andromeda is so huge, the galaxy, and each world has a lot to do. And it reminds me a lot of the original Mass Effect. And they still have some of the loyalty missions like Mass Effect 2. And there is like a readiness map like they had in Mass Effect 3. So they really blended kind of all the good things from all the separate Mass Effects. But one thing I've seen other people complain about is that their missions don't let you discover things.
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it.
It really holds your hand in the game, and I like that.
I've got nothing to do with that business. I never killed nobody.
A lot of times
then why did you run away when they came to question you?
Mission to help somebody do something,
I
and then I forget
I forgot to
what they
report to
wanted
my
to do,
parole
or they
officer.
sent me to go do it because I put the game down for like a couple of days.
When I saw the cops, I just
Andromeda,
bolted.
they have a tracker.
I wasn't thinking straight.
So this is like,
Reed
you're
checked
doing
out
this
his
mission.
statement. He has an alibi for at least 3 of the murders.
Steps. So it tells you where to go. It tells you where you're looking for. So you always know how to get there.
Shit!
You always know the next step. And I like it a lot because I get to do like 3 or 4 extra missions in one sitting than I would normally do, because I don't have to like search the whole planet for something that I don't know where it is.
Okay.
Or what I'm looking for. So it's a lot
Sean
nicer
Moss's
that
mother's here. She'd like to
you get
speak
to
with
track
you.
it and everything. And then you don't have to do it in order. Like you can start a couple of missions
middle of the night,
and then say, "Oh, I'm going to a different planet," and then come back and finish
Ethan
those
came
missions
home
later.
completely drenched at about 3. I asked him where he'd been. He spoke about drowning, the rain. He didn't make any sense. There was something in his eyes.
So I highly recommend Andromeda. I mean, it's a really good game. And the voice acting is really good. I haven't romanced anyone yet.
There may be no connection.
We'll see.
But the next day, there was that announcement about another victim of the origami killer. Find my son.
So
I'm begging
I saw
you.
7 movies in California. I saw Dunkirk in IMAX. I didn't see it in 70mm IMAX.
I'm Police Lieutenant Carter Blake, and this is Agent Norman Jaden of the
The movie
FBI.
theater
According to
I
our
went to,
information,
it
Ethan
has
Mars
the
is one of your
Atmos
patients.
IMAX.
We'd like to ask you a few questions about him.
And so
I'm sorry, that's
I went to
impossible.
see that.
I beg your pardon.
I'm bound by an oath of secrecy.
I know
Under
a lot of
no
people have a problem with The
circumstances
Dark
may I
Knight
discuss
Rises,
my
but
patients.
Out of the 3 Batmans,
My job is to find
I
Sean
like The
Mars
Dark Knight
alive, and I
Rises
don't
the
give a
best.
damn about any bullshit
and, I love Interstellar. I
know
pretty
you
much
don't
watch
want
that
to
movie
protect
once every 2
If
months.
you know anything, you must tell us, Doctor.
And I own the Blu-ray
I'm sorry,
of it.
I can't help you.
And then I just got
Now I
the
must
Blu-ray
ask you to
of
leave.
Inception. And
You need
the funny
to
thing is I
cooperate
have Inception on
for your own
DVD,
sake.
but I was like, I have to get this on Blu-ray. So I got it on Blu-ray, and it's
It's
just
your
like,
duty to inform the police if you suspect one of your patients,
some of the quality
Doctor.
doesn't look that much better.
you threatening me?
Blu-ray.
I'm just giving you some free
So I
advice,
don't know if that's
Doc.
because the DVD
I
quality was
suggest
so
you take
high,
it.
which kind of isn't, but it was just like
Doctor, a
a
child's
lot of the
life's at
scenes were either
stake.
too dark
You may
or
know
too
something
bright,
that could
but
help
there were
us
some
save
really
him.
good scenes.
I'm going to
that
call the police
better
and make a
Blu-ray,
complaint
but not
about your
the whole thing.
behavior.
But I got a deal on Inception.
Doctor,
and
you
it
are
was
really
only like
pushing my
$4
buttons.
for
The only thing
Blu-ray.
I'm interested in is saving that kid's life. So you're gonna be
So
a
I
good
really
boy
like-
and tell me what I want to know, or I am really gonna lose my temper.
What are you doing?
So I really
you out
like
of your
Christopher
mind?
Nolan.
Back off, Jaden.
Let
This guy
go
knows
of
something, and I'm not
And his
leaving here
films.
until he tells me what
And
it
so
is.
have no
I was
right.
like, Dunkirk's gonna be incredible. And so a lot of the movie is filmed in IMAX, and so it's 16:9, which I love because I hate when movies are filmed the extra widescreen, which is 238:1, and that's the aspect ratio. Because most of the cameras they film the
Come on,
movies
Doc.
in
There's an easy
don't
way and a
actually
hard
film
way.
in that,
It's your
in
fucking
that
choice.
ratio. What I mean is,
You have no right to hit him.
to 1.
I'm saving a kid's life for Christ's sake. If you don't like it, leave.
You would shoot on a square 35 millimeter.
If you don't let go of this man immediately, I'll report you and you'll be off the case.
Or you would use...
What the hell's the matter with you, Norman? Were you getting cold feet? You don't want to save Sean Mars anymore?
I want to save Sean Mars just as much as you do, but that doesn't give me all rights.
And so
you're gonna stop this shit right
the digital
now.
Cameras, they use a crop sensor.
Ethan Mars
and so
has had psychological
it's not exactly
problems
35
since his
millimeter,
first son
super
died.
35 millimeter, which is stupid in
Feels
itself
responsible
because
for his death.
super 35 millimeter
Sort of
is
morbid
done that
neurosis.
way because some of the film
He is
has a
haunted by
magnetic
visions
strip,
of drowning bodies.
and that's to sync audio with the picture.
A few weeks ago,
And so 35
after one of our
millimeter is
usual
slightly smaller
sessions, I found
super
this on the
35
floor.
millimeter is slightly smaller than regular 35
He must have
millimeter.
fallen out of his pocket.
But to get it to be 238 to 1, they take a smaller 35 millimeter and they crop that even further. So it's not like the films are actually wider screen. It's just cropped the top and the bottom off the film. So even though it's like a 16:9 sensor, they're just cropping the rest of it to make it look wider when it's actually not any wider.
Ash, I want you to assign every available man to finding Ethan Mars. I want a man outside his place day and night. Notify all agencies to start looking for him. I want you to keep an eye on the train stations, the airports, the bus terminals. I want every cop in the city on his ass, so that if he moves, we know about it.
Because
yes,
those lenses
Ethan Mars is the
assume
origami
that
killer.
you're filming to a square, and what happens is in post, you take that square image and then you stretch it out, and that's how you get the extra wide screen. And so I never really liked how the digital films do that. And so that's what I liked about him shooting in 70 millimeter is 70 millimeter is more of a square, but then you crop out to be 16:9. And so it's really the highest resolution, highest quality way to get a 16:9 ratio film. So that part I liked, and so they did some of The Dark Knight Rises that way with the IMAX camera, and then they didn't do any of it for Inception, but they did a lot of it for Interstellar, and so those scenes are always really cool. And then
nice shot.
I would say most of the film.
Thank you. Please come in, Mr. Shelby.
For
Would you care for a coffee?
And it.
Oh, no thanks.
It looked really good, and it was a really immersive movie.
Do you play? I tried once, but I think the owner of the course is still looking for it.
I think it was a really good movie on its own.
It's an interesting sport. It requires strength, but also
I think
a cool
you could
head
almost,
and
if you're
absolute
watching it, you could
precision.
almost say.
Would you care to
you
hit
could
a few
almost be
balls with
surprised
me?
that it
There's
was a
no
Christopher
danger of
Nolan film.
damaging the greens here.
And there were some parts that
Take
were
off your
kind of
jacket.
jarring.
Grab a club.
And the one part is that, spoiler alert, they're telling 3 different stories of one event, and they say this within the first 20 minutes of the film. But so
The balls are in
one
that
character
basket.
story lasts a week, and then another character story is only an hour long, but it's all happening at the same event. And so as the movie goes on, it shows those stories getting closer and closer until the time when they're all happening at the same time. But
The most important thing is to grip the club
the
correctly.
kind of problem with the movie
When you
is
feel ready,
there's a point
you
where
swing.
all the stories come together like a triangle, and they all start happening at the same time. But then, kind of the order in which they start showing everything happening at the same time, some of the stories start taking place further back, and so the stories start going kind of back in time, and it's not synchronized very well.
Impressive.
And it's kind of jarring because it's like
You seem to have a
realize,
knack for
oh,
it.
this has happened before then. And
Yeah,
it's
beginner's
interesting
luck.
because I kind of see what they're trying to do, because they're trying to get you to wonder, like, oh, is this what happens to the character in the future, or blah blah, or in the past? But it was like
I'm
really
assuming you didn't
distracting,
invite
and I
me
would
here
have
just
liked
to
it
play
better if
golf,
it was
Mr.
just
Kramer.
the different cuts.
I hear
of
you've
the
been
story
asking questions
happening
about my
kind
son.
of concurrently. So that part was kind of.
That's right. I want to know if Gordy is linked to the
like
origami
Christopher
killer
Nolan
case in
style,
any
but
way.
it wasn't over the top, and the way it was executed, it kind of felt like a misstep. And so that part was like, oh, kind of disappointing. But I really like this movie, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go see it again. Not in IMAX, I'm going to see it in the regular theater.
My son had nothing to do with that sordid case.
And then I'm going to write a review for...
Well, then he has nothing to fear from my investigation.
In the old master blog. And then...
You have no business investigating my son. I told you he had nothing to do with it.
Spider-Man, and I had mixed feelings about Spider-Man. Mainly because...
With all due respect, Mr. Kramer, it's up to me to decide who I want to investigate.
I really didn't like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It was just... I don't know. It was okay, but it just felt like, why are you redoing it?
I'm an influential man.
The Spider-Mans were actually a lot better than it.
Very
so
well.
Like, you're redoing it, and it's bad. And then...
Are you trying to buy me?
I had no hopes for this movie.
Let's just say I'm trying to show you where your interest lies.
But I was like, no.
How much do you want to leave my son alone?
A lot of people just like everything Marvel, and there are some Marvel things I like. But
I think you misunderstood me.
Marvel movie.
I don't play that game.
If I can trust these people.
Don't go near my son, Mr. Shelby. If you do, you'll regret it.
So I went to go see it, and it was really good.
Have a nice day, Mr. Kramer.
It was really good. It was so good that it might be the best Marvel movie so far. I think it's very close to the first Iron Man, and it was just a really good film. There were lots of twists that I wasn't expecting, and like there were people gasping in the theater. The same parts I was like, oh my goodness, that just happened. And I just really felt for the characters, and I really felt for Spider-Man. But one of the things I thought was kind of funny was some of the mannerisms and definitely the voice of Spider-Man really reminded me of Michael J. Fox, and he almost sounds exactly like Michael J. Fox. And so I thought that was kind of cool. But that was kind of different part of the story. So, after Spider-Man, later in the week, we went to see Atomic Blonde. And Atomic Blonde was okay. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't good. I would say it would be like on the bottom of okay. I don't need to see it again. It was kind of too much killing. And like beating up, like
porcelain lizards. They look
the main characters
out of place with the rest of this old beat up stuff.
Female spy, and pretty much the whole movie is like her getting beat up over and over again. It's just like it was too violent. You know, it was just like, oh my goodness. It was to the point where it's like none of this is believable. Or like just the things she would do to the people beating her up and the amount of beating she was taking was just like nobody could come back from this, you know. But so that was kind of my take on the movie. I don't know what I was thinking. I was hoping it'd be better, but it wasn't. And then, you know, it just kind of it fell a lot into like kind of the tropes of other movies where it's like, oh, get you to care about this one character, and it's like, oh, we killed him. And it's just like, seriously? So I've been video editing.
Are you prepared to suffer
on top of
to
that,
save your
I'm
son?
doing video
You
capture
have
of
5 minutes to cut off the last section
and so
of
that's
one of
gonna
your
be-
fingers in front of the
I
camera.
mean, it already is part.
If you
By the time
succeed,
this comes
you will
out,
get your reward.
it will already be part of the creative streams on Twitch. But it's interesting because editing is usually like really private, and so it's just kind of funny showing off the whole editing process. And everything I'm doing to get the videos done, but I hope it does well. And some people enjoy that stuff. But right now, kind of all the computers I work with, they're rendering, and so they're full. But when I came back from California, I had this other computer, and I usually leave it open to render things for Thumbs United. And the reason why I leave it open for Thumbs United is because the other two computers I use to render, they mainly render animations, both 2D and 3D. So those take a lot longer, and I don't want to continually stop and start them from rendering to render other things. And the one I render with Thumbs United it's not really a slower computer. I mean, it is slower, but it's a 3-core AMD computer. And so, I mean, it's strong enough to render simple things like the gameplay footage and the final render. But anyway, I come back from California. I was like, oh, should I leave it on or should I turn it off? Because there were things I could have it rendering, but I was like, I didn't get them done in time, so I was like, I just turn it off. Turn it off. Then I come back from California, I go to turn it on to have it start working again, and it doesn't turn on. I was like, what? It doesn't even load the BIOS. And so I have to take it apart, and then I'm pretty sure I just have to reset it. I don't know what happened. I think maybe the battery died while it was turned off, and so I probably just have to do the reset with the jumpers and everything. I hope that's all I have to do. But it's just like, I don't want to have computer problems anymore. And it was nice because I was up to the point where I had 3 of them working really well. But now it seems to be like one breaks pretty often. It's probably because I'm running them at 100% all the time. But that's a different story. So I have a lot of projects to work on, including fixing that computer. And I was kind of hoping, well, since AMD came out with the Ryzen, I was hoping I would build, because I have the FX processor, I thought I'd build one more render node for rendering everything, and then I get because right now I have a computer that does is dual booting Windows and Linux, and so 99% of the time it's in Linux because that's what I use to render. And so I'm hoping that if I build one more Linux node and make it with the Ryzen, that it can take all the jobs of the other computer, and then I can finally get my Windows computer back, because there are some applications I need that I don't have on the Apple or on Linux. And 2,
that's affirmative, Lieutenant.
There's a different
We're in
kind
position.
of render.
Perfect. Nobody moves until I give this signal. Is that clear?
I can use under Windows.
We nail him as soon as he sets foot outside.
Right, Lieutenant.
Lucky that patrol spotted his car.
What's he doing in there?
Beats me. You're the profiler, right? I thought you were supposed to be right inside the killer's head.
Well, that's just it. What I know of Ethan Mars doesn't match the killer's psychological profile.
So I
know what the jury's going to choose between your theories and concrete proof.
Michigan to California was what I usually do is I put the GoPro on
What the fuck is that girl doing there? Mars comes out now, she's going to be in trouble.
And
what do we do, Lieutenant? Want to get her out?
I bought
No, stand down.
Some GoPro batteries. And so each one lasts for like an hour and 45 minutes, each battery. And so then I replace it at each pit stop, and it's usually dead for like 30 minutes extra before it gets to the pit stop. So what I did this time was I soldered a USB cable onto the battery connectors of the GoPro. And then because I have a lot of RC batteries that I use RC batteries for video cameras and everything else. But I had
she's going inside.
A battery to USB converter.
Well, we don't want anyone hanging
and
around
so then
if Mars
with the
comes
USB cord I soldered onto the GoPro.
The police. They're out there. I think they're here to arrest you.
You know, like it's made for
We've got to find another way out.
Remote control cars, the big ones, the electric ones.
Shit.
And so I was able to
wait for a go on my word.
And so when it has power from that, it would run for over 6 hours at a time. I wouldn't have to replace the battery with another one. So that was pretty good. But this time instead of recording video to do a video lapse, I just recorded photos. And so on the way to California, I had to take a picture every 60 seconds. So every 1 minute. And then that one was pretty good. And I got total, out of all the photos it took, I got around 300 good ones. And then on the way back, I was like, well, I think we can do better.
Shit!
And so I had to take a photo every 30 seconds. So every half a minute it would take a photo. So every minute it would take 2 photos. And so I got a lot better photos. I got like 500, little over, it was close to 600.
Ready on my go. Stay here, Jason.
Out of the question.
Photos.
I'm coming with
and so I
2 men at the door, hold your positions. It's a go.
And so the GoPro takes, the one I have is the Hero 2. I have the Hero 3, but I wasn't using it for that because you can't, I didn't want to solder onto the Hero 3 Plus that I have. But with the Hero 2, I was able to get 11 megapixel photographs. And so that one was fun to edit. And there were some photos that were like, what are the chances of getting them? There was this one exit, we were changing freeways. I don't remember what it was. But we were changing freeways, and on the exit there, there was a hawk that was flying in front of us. And I got a picture of it flying in front of us right as it was turning, and I was like,
hey, wow, don't move! I'll shoot!
Come on, quick!
That's pretty,
I can't.
Hands in the air!
Pretty low. Especially because we were only taking a picture every 30 seconds.
There's a man and a woman exiting the alley.
A woman? Shit! It's that girl who went in! Everybody downstairs! They're in the alley! Follow them!
And so I'm going to combine the photos from the road trip and the photos I took in California of LA. And that's going to be the America 1 series. And I'm still going to do, I haven't talked about it too much, but I'm planning to do this series of photographs on flotations.com called The Great American Journey, but I don't think that's good. I think I just will call it America 2, and that this is going to be a larger series where it's like America 1, America 2, because one of my goals for the American Journey is I want to visit all 50 states, and then I want to visit like each state park and kind of the historical places and capture them on both film and digital photography.
Ethan, what's the matter? We've got to keep going. Ethan, they're coming.
So I talked earlier about kind of replacing the games I have for the PC and replacing and getting them for the Xbox One. And so there's this discount store where they have like all these used Blu-rays and DVDs and some games. They have a lot of 360 games, but not so many Xbox One games. There's a lot of people out returning games with the Xbox One. And then 2, a lot of people buy the games digitally on Xbox One.
Careful!
Which I did a lot of. But I had the 500 gigabyte Xbox and the server for. So like I only
watch it, man! Please!
It's like 10
Stop
games.
or I'll shoot!
And 2 of those are Xbox 360 games. version of Tomb Raider. It's the definitive edition. And I was playing through that, and it took me like 2 weeks to beat. I wasn't playing it like a lot. It was like a half hour here, a half hour there. But that was a great game. Highly recommend it. And I'm thinking about doing a series of just like a walkthrough. One of the unfortunate things, or fortunate things, it depends how you look at it, is once you beat the game, you can go back in the save and you can go to each of the locations you played at, but there are no enemies there. So you can't really play like
or I'll blow
new
your
levels.
fucking brains out.
You can only play it like all the way through. And so I want to do a series that's just exploring the different locations in Tomb Raider, because I think a lot of them are really good, and you don't see a lot of it. I mean, you're exploring and you're going through, but you don't really take the time to really take in kind of all the detail that they put in of the landscape and everything. So I want to do a series of just like exploring Tomb Raider, kind of like, you know, exploring Pandora or someplace. And then the other game I'm playing, I'm kind of doing a hodgepodge of games, because I'm slowly getting all the way through Mass Effect. But with Mass Effect, I sit down and I play it for like 2 hours or 3 hours. And sometimes I don't want to play a game for 3 hours. So then I play a smaller game, like I go to the Master Chief Collection. But another one I've been going to, and this is...
I'm trying to save the life of your
son. It's
son.
kind of funny, but it's Gears
time,
of War 3.
It's running
the reason
out.
why I'm playing it is because I have a 3D monitor.
Tell me what you know.
So Gears of War 3 came out, and it could do 3D gaming.
I'm going to lay my cards on the table.
And
I don't believe you're guilty.
The problem was,
I know that sounds
with the
strange,
360
but
I had, it only had the component cable and the composite.
But you were going to have to help me to prove your innocence, because the odds are stacked against you.
Because of that, it had no HDMI. And because there was no HDMI, it could never output to output
lost,
to 3D.
Ethan.
Because it would say, "Oh, you're not connected
what will you gain with one more victim?"
You're not connected to HDMI, so you obviously don't have a 3D monitor. Even though I had a conversion kit that converted the composite to HDMI. And so it's like, finally, I get to see what Gears of War looks like in 3D, and it's pretty good. I mean, the text is really hard to read.
Ethan,
it's
say
really,
something! For God's sake!
There's a lot of aliasing and everything, but in terms of like the character and even the cutscenes, because a lot of times game developers, they don't cheat, but a lot of times the cutscenes are 2-dimensional instead of 3-dimensional.
I can't remember what happened.
And so it's really surprising to see that like all the cutscenes
I don't know where
are
he is.
Like rendered live and 3-dimensional.
The only way to find him.
And so
is to let
I really
out
like
of here.
Playing the Gears of War, because it's kind of like
I'm the only person who can save him. Especially
in third person, it's like you're playing with kind of tabletop characters, and so you can see.
That's just crazy talk, Ethan.
It
doesn't make any sense.
Popping out at you.
How can I believe
but you can see
anything you say?
Depth going into the game world, so that's nice.
I really
enjoyed it, but I had problems because the original game I wanted to play in 3D.
My son
was Halo: The Anniversary.
If you keep me
edition, the first Halo.
Sean is going to die.
And so with the Master Chief, it comes in the anniversary edition of
Time's running out, Ethan.
Comes with,
frankly, I don't care why
the Master Chief Collection.
The only thing I want to
know. So I went
know
into the Master
is
Chief Collection and I was like, is there a setting that I can use to turn it on to 3D?
I would already have saved him if I knew where he was.
So then I was like, the original game that came out for the 360 had a 3D version, so I wanted to see how that 3D was, because I never played a 3D game
and this time,
with
think
first-person shooter. I played Mass Effect 2 in 3D, but never. But that was again third person. So I was like,
I told you, I don't know.
Is the 3D in?
Wrong answer.
I asked you a
first person
question,
shooter even
and
worth
now
it?
you're gonna answer me,
Or
even
does
if
it
it
just
takes
get
all
annoying?
night.
But then it was
Where?
like, nope. And this is the thing that kind
Carter,
of sucks
stop.
is that
I'm gonna report you for
the
this.
backward
Go ahead.
compatibility
Get the hell out of
with
here.
the Xbox
I couldn't stand you from the
doesn't
very
work for
beginning,
Halo 1.
Norman. Now get the fuck out.
Doesn't work for. It works for Halo Reach. It's like, I guess they did it because they want you to buy the Master Pack, but it's like, why didn't they put in the Master Chief Collection?
What are you doing?
Why
This
didn't
guy's
they
a killer.
put
He's
that
got
setting
no
back in?
fucking
I mean, they're
rights.
actually
He's
taking
gonna tell me
features
everything.
out that were in the original launch of the Anniversary Edition. That kind of sucks.
Are
But
you gonna tell me what I want to know, or I'm...
so that's why I
Even
went
if
to
he is
Gears
a
of War
killer, that doesn't
3,
give you the
because it
right
had
to beat
3D
him.
support.
Whose side are you on, Norman? Are you defending this
But
piece
I kind
of
of have a
shit?
problem with the backwards compatibility.
I'm defending the law.
Because I
and
guess
the law
none
says
of
he
the
is innocent
developers
until proven guilty.
This guy's got no
went
rights.
through
Do you
the
hear
effort
me?
to make the
No
games
rights
backwards
at all.
compatibility. And from what I understand, you just have to recompile the game and then submit it to Microsoft, but none of them did it. And so it's just like, it's kind of annoying. But I still have my 360, so it's like, it's not that big of a problem. But I would like to have them on
That
the
asshole has gone
Xbox
too
One.
far this time. That is not the way it's gonna go. I'm gonna tell the whole story to
Amazon,
Captain
I
Perry.
saw this deal where you could get Mirror's Edge. So I got that game. I actually got Mirror's Edge.
Blake is trying to beat a confession
like
out of
3
Ethan
months-
Mars. You've
uh,
got to do
3 months
something.
ago.
Which is more important, Norman? Finding little Sean Mars or sparing that lowlife a few bruises? You can't make omelets without breaking a few eggs.
God damn! Ethan Mars is innocent! We've got to get back to looking for Sean if we're to have any chance of finding him alive!
This case has worn you out, Norman. You need some time off to think it through.
So I've been playing through Mirror's Edge, and there's an Xbox sale happening, and I got some games, and I kind of forgot about it. But then there was this bug where I'm playing, and then I died. You know that happens in video games, you die. And then when it reloads, it doesn't reload to like moments before where I died, where the last checkpoint was. It loads further into the future. So it's like there was a whole section of the game that I missed, and it like teleported me to this other part of the city, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And they're like, oh, you have to get this one part for this person. It's like, I did a mission like that before, but it's like I don't know the person I'm going after. And so there's like this whole plot point that I missed, and so I'm still going through it, but it's not that, and it's not that I'm so confused. It's just like, oh my goodness, I just kind of lost interest in it, and some of the characters seem a little whiny. And then about a month ago...
Your vodka, sir.
Usually what happens is I wake up, and then I make a pot of coffee. And I have a kind of small coffee maker.
You look preoccupied.
It says it makes 4 cups, but it's really 2 cups.
Problems with the investigation?
A full pot, and I drink 2 cups of coffee.
Blake is convinced that Mars is the killer.
About a half a cup of milk in each one.
Not
so
you.
It's really like 3 cups.
I thought there
of
was
fluid,
some evidence to that effect.
That's true. But it just doesn't make sense. His psychological profile doesn't fit. Neither does the geolocalization.
I was like, well...
I can't see this father drowning 8 victims before kidnapping his own kid.
Fluid, like less
Mars is not the origami
coffee.
killer.
And so I was like, what can I do?
Stake my life on
Then
it.
I found my dad had this espresso machine.
I haven't the faintest fucking idea.
In storage, and so I was like, I'll use this.
Maybe you should
And so I
review
was
the
really
evidence
scared.
in your
I thought the whole thing
possession.
was going to explode because I didn't know
That's just
why
what I
it
was
in
thinking of
storage.
doing.
But no, it worked fine, and so then I switched from
one
regular
last
coffee to
thing,
espresso. And the joke of it was that the espresso was actually had less caffeine than the regular cup of coffee.
It can be dangerous.
Because I kind of went into coffee withdrawals once I switched.
I'm trying to keep a handle on it, but
now I make 3
difficult.
sets of espresso
It gets
in the
more and
morning,
more difficult.
and then that's it. And so that's only
It'll end up
so it's
killing
just
you
the
if you're
espresso,
not careful.
milk, and then
That would be most
nothing else.
unfortunate.
It's only
sir.
1 cup, and so that's kind of been nicer because I don't have to go to the restroom all the time like I used to. And but I find that I'm still tired throughout the day, so I drink. I used to drink green tea, like in the afternoon. I'd start to get tired, but now I switched to black tea, which has more caffeine, but it hasn't affected my sleeping because I just lay down.
Wow. Looks like there's something new. A video recording from New Park on the afternoon Sean Mars disappeared. I doubt there's anything on it, but you never know.
Thinking about things when you're getting tired and you're slowly starting to fall asleep. It hasn't been. I haven't once yet been like, I want to fall asleep but I can't, like insomnia or anything. I haven't had that, and so I think that
a Chevrolet model corresponding to its tire prints passed in 1602 heading for the park, when in the opposite direction at 1637. That could fit the time that Sean Mars disappeared.
There were a lot of times where it's like, okay, I'm ready to go to sleep, but like my body wasn't ready. It's like, you're gonna stay up for another 3 hours and then you're up till
pity we can't see the driver's
4,
face.
You know, against your will. And so I highly recommend espresso, but I recommend you make it yourself. You just get
the car was stolen. Let's see.
Machine
a certain Jackson Neville was suspected of stealing it, but the charges were dropped.
How people
not enough
spend
evidence.
that much at Starbucks, like every day. It just doesn't make sense. And you think about how much you can save. I mean, you just grind up the coffee. Like I buy a pound of coffee it comes from Mexico, but it's organic and it costs $11, and that lasts 2 weeks. I mean, easily 2 weeks. You can stretch to like 2 weeks and a half. And so it's like
Jackson Neville, aka Mad Jack, involved in several cases of buying and selling stolen vehicles.
And like how much
considered
is that?
To be very dangerous.
Like $3 a day.
This guy might have provided the killer with a car. It's a pretty slim lead, but it's all I have right now.
But that's just me. Okay, we have about 10 minutes left. I want to remind everyone you can subscribe to LCD Productions on Patreon, and at the $2 level you can get early access to everything LCD Productions does, and that means early access to Thumbs United, early access to Photations or Photations.com, and you get early access to Live to Tape, which is going to have its first videos released in September.
Did Mars confess?
But you can get them earlier if you subscribe
not yet.
on Patreon.
He lost consciousness.
And then
we'll give him a break and then we'll get back
eventually
to him.
When Project Aerospace comes out, it will come out first to Patreon.
Tough or not, he'll
and
crack.
Then to everyone else.
They all do.
And so what happens is I record these Let's Plays all at once.
You've done a fine job.
And then I release them one at a time.
I called a press conference.
To
Gonna kick
Twitch.
off in 1 hour.
And then after the series finishes on Twitch, then I start releasing them.
Don't you want to wait until we actually got his confession?
Onto the Thumbs United.
We've got him dead to rights.
The Thumbs United YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll get these Let's Plays.
Ethan Mars is innocent. He truly believes that he alone can save Sean. What if he's right?
Before they even go to Twitch,
I'll play those odds. I've got to get him out of here.
To Patreon, so you can enjoy a month's worth of streams all at once. And that's like, it's scaling up. It's scaling up to be like 15 hours worth of content just from Thumbs United a month. That's a lot.
I gotta find some way to get Ethan Mars out of here. Even if there's only a 1 in 1,000 chance he's telling the truth, he may still be able to save his son. gut feeling is that Mars is innocent, and I gotta get him out of here.
So while I was in California, one of the big holdups for me applying to other jobs was like that I was going to California, so I didn't want to interview at a place, and then they'd be like, okay, can you start Monday? And it's like, nope, I'm in California, so I wanted to wait till after I got back. But for there 2 months, I saw that the department store where I used to work was hiring, and I was like, well, we'll see. And so I checked like every 2 weeks, and the call for casting, not the call for casting, but they were still asking for applicants like every 2 weeks that I checked. And I was like, okay, if it's still here when I'm in California, I'll apply. So I applied, and I got the interview, and the interview went great. But then at the end, the store manager was like, I don't actually decide who we hire. And I was like, what? I didn't tell him that, but he was like, yeah, we send off these reports to corporate, and then corporate decides. And I was like, that is dreadful, because the interview went so well. It went really well. And the guy was like, oh yeah, I remember you did well. And then he loved my examples of experience that I had. And so then I get the email, and the joke of it, they have to change their email because it's an automated email that says you didn't get it, but it says, you weren't the most experienced person we had. And it's just like, why do you gotta rub insult into injury? Just say, you weren't the right person. You don't just say you're not the most qualified person ever to live. I mean, my goodness, I'm gonna hit you in the gut with that one. And so, I mean, I wasn't exactly devastated because I kind of started to have a little bit of anxiety towards it if I got the job. But, I mean, I could have done the job and have no problem, but I was kind of hoping, right now, working as a gardener, you had to pick my own hours. Instead of working in a department store, you never get to pick your own hours. And
leave us alone.
They don't want to give you like too many hours. And the guy said, we'll give you 14 to 24,
said
no more than that.
Leave us alone.
And so I was like, well,
right.
I like my flexibility.
I'll be at the door if you need anything.
Kind of in the next topic, but I'm trying to make it as a photographer, and so I guess in winter once gardening's gone, I'll have more time to focus on photography, and I'm planning to either just contact more galleries and just try to get more of my work out there, my physical work out there. Number one, and two, I want to start doing not so much portraiture.
I gotta get out of here.
Like senior portraits and stuff, but I want to start doing like
I gotta save my
model
son.
Portfolios and stuff.
This is what I can do.
You employ me, and I'll take like 4 headshots and give you the prints and everything you need for like getting for a modeling portfolio, so that the models can submit it to other places and say like, oh look, this is what.
Gotta find some way to get rid of the guard if I want to free Mars.
So that's what I hope to do. But so
first,
in preparation for that, I want to start shooting.
Should be able to get him out of here without being noticed.
I'm really good at shooting people, but I usually do event photography. So it's like catching people in the moment and all of that. And so what's nice about event photography is it's almost like a sport where you're constantly concentrating, constantly looking for like the best angle of everything.
I'm gonna find a way to get you out of here.
Always looking for the right moments. And it's really rewarding when you get them, all the right moments and everything together. But
there should be officers' raincoats all over the place. Gotta find one and give it to Mars.
Which is really hard. And I've talked to other photographers, and they're like, yeah, landscape photography is one of the hardest forms of photography to be successful in, because, I mean, people will pay you for photos of themselves, or they'll pay you for photos of other people, because people can relate to people really easily, but not many people will pay you for a photo of a mountain or everything, because a lot of times they think, I'll just go there and take the photo myself. And especially with all these print services, I mean, you can print almost any size you want from a digital camera. And a lot of people print from their iPhone, if they print at all. And that's the other thing, is a lot of people don't print things anymore. And so I just have to kind of pivot my focus on that. Oh, but what one of my photography friends said is, like, they'll pay you for a photo of themselves. You can get a person to pay you for a photo of themselves, but you can't get a mountain to pay you for a photo of itself. Yeah, that's true. But I'm still going to do a lot of landscape photography. And not so much to sell, but more to do the photographic animations, or the photations is what I call them. And just do more video. And
there should be officers' raincoats all over the place.
Wildlife.
Gotta find one and give it to Mars.
Nature videos.
There should be officers' raincoats all over the place. Gotta find one and give it to Mars.
And so I'm also thinking about applying to kind of be the mall photographer, where like in the JCPenney's and everywhere they have like this booth. Well, it's more like a big room and it has a cash register, and be a photographer there. But the only problem is when you're the photographer there, not only do you have to do the photography, which is like, that's the part I love, but then you have to do everything, because they only hire one person at a time. So you have to be the photographer, then you have to do the cash register, then you're in charge of doing the cash count at the end of the day. And then it's just like, I don't really like working cash registers. And not only that, then you have to like sell the different products. So they want you to upsell everything. And it's like, I'm fine selling the person what they want, but I'm not good at like selling them a bunch of things they don't need. But, so I'm thinking about applying to that, but I've applied in the past and I've never gotten a call back. But I think that's because by the time when I find these jobs, they've been posted for like months, and they already found the person, but they never took the job listing down. So I want to remind everyone, you can subscribe at the $2 level to get early access at LCD Productions on Patreon. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay. Just subscribe to us on YouTube at Thumbs United. And if you like art and photography, you can subscribe to Photations on YouTube. Photations also has a really large website called Photations.com. It's Photations with an S. And then if you want to take home a print, you can go to Photation Store, all one word, .com. And there's a wide variety of landscape and art photos you can purchase to be delivered. So I want to thank you for hanging out. This is Thumbs United. I got a few more minutes left, but not many. I just want to get that in before this video ends. So then before we go, my iPhone, I have the iPhone, and
I gotta find some way to get him through the police station undetected. There should be officers' raincoats all over the place.
4K.
Gotta find one and give it to Mars.
VR, because what happens is with VR, it cuts the resolution in half. So
First,
the left eye gets half the resolution, and the right eye gets the other half of the resolution. So really, with VR, that's only
First, get rid of the cops.
HD or 1080p per eye if you're using a 4K phone. So if you're using a phone like the iPhone, it's even less.
Shit!
It's
what
like
am I
half
doing?
Of,
helping a suspect to escape?
1080p.
That'll cost me my badge and earn me a 10-year stretch.
And then the other reason why I'm excited for the Note from Samsung, hopefully these ones don't explode, but is because I want a phone with a headphone port, and I think it's ridiculous that Apple now makes their phone without it. And I don't understand why they did it, because they still make iPads that have headphone ports. So it's just like, if they like got together and none of their devices had a headphone port, that would be one thing.
Gary,
but why would they make
a
version of the phone
I'll
without?
keep an eye
Just
on it.
one
You sure?
version of their phone.
Actually, I was busting for a piss.
Stupid.
If you need to adjust his handcuffs, the keys are on my desk.
And so, yeah, I used to like the apps, and the apps are what kept me with the iPhone, but now, so the joke of it is, I have the iPhone 6 Plus, and so I was having this problem with my headphones, where they, every once in a while, just based on how it would move, it would like disconnect. It wouldn't unplug, it would just like not hit the wires properly on the headphone port, and then it would pause whatever I was listening to. And so then I had to pull the phone out and start it again, because the headphones I'm using, they're like they're older Bose, but they don't have the microphone controls where you can start and stop or change the volume. And so it's really annoying. So then occasionally what happens is with my phone and with my pants,
That's it.
is limp to get in the headphone jack when there's nothing in there. And so what I've been doing is I have like this, it's like I have this really small screwdriver.
They're having a break.
And I can take
if you're
the lint
quick,
out
you'll be
that
able to
way
slip
by
out
sticking
without
it
being
in
noticed.
and feeling around and pulling it out. Sometimes
Head
I take
straight
a
to the
paper
exit.
clip and
Don't
do
stop,
it.
don't talk, don't even think. Just
So usually
walk.
what happens is there's
I don't know what
like
to
just
say.
enough lint that it
Just say
pushes
you're
the
going to save
headphone
your son.
out a little bit, so it's like barely connecting.
I hope I won't regret that.
And so I did that, still didn't work this time. So the headphone port doesn't really work, and every time I move, it like turns things off and turns it on. And now what it's doing is it keeps turning on Siri, and it's like, I don't want Siri. Stop. So, and that's kind of annoying. And then the other thing that's annoying is it kept wanting to update, and I kept telling it, no, I don't want to update. I want to wait a little bit before the update, because I never like to update right away. And so at night before I went to bed, it was like, do you want to update? And I always say no. And then it says, how about update later?
Less than an hour ago,
and I said
we heard
no.
from the police who have
And so
identified
then,
the man thought to be the
and so then
origami killer.
it says, you know,
Ethan
it doesn't
Mars,
say you
father
can't,
of
you
the
can't tell it
victim,
no.
Sean Mars,
It says
is on
update
the
later,
run
enter your
and should be considered
passcode so you can
armed and dangerous.
update
A
while
police
you sleep.
manhunt is now
And I
underway,
said
and they
cancel.
hope that they will soon be able to announce the apprehension of
So
this
I woke up
dangerous
the next
lunatic.
day and it had updated itself. And I was like, I didn't give you the passcode to update. There's no reason you should have updated. And so then
I brought some food. I didn't know what you liked, so I
It,
brought some of everything. I hope that's okay.
So now it just runs a lot slower. I mean, it lags more. Apps aren't responsive. If I click the
Why are
home
you helping
screen,
me, Madison?
it takes like 2
You
or
know
3
nothing
seconds
about me.
for the app to
You could have been
close.
killed.
And so it's really annoying. It's like, I didn't want this update.
I
It
don't
was
know. I
working
guess it
fine
just seemed like the
before,
right thing to do at the time.
You know.
You needed help. I helped
So
you.
now I guess it's forced obsolescence.
You're all over the news reports, Ethan. Every cop in the country will be hunting you. They say you're the origami killer. Is it true? Are you the killer, Ethan?
And then one of the other movies when I went to go get Inception on Blu-ray, there was a section of Blu-rays that were, it was $2.99, and I was like, how could I resist $2.99?
I sometimes have these blackouts.
And
times where
so I got
don't know what I'm doing.
I didn't really like the American the first time,
As if
but I was like, oh, I'll see it again.
Someone completely
see
different.
if it's any good. And
the
it
only
was
thing
a
I
lot
remember
better
afterwards,
the second time. It's a movie with George Clooney, and he's like this bounty hunter. Not bounty hunter, he's like this spy. And
why are you hurt?
Something goes bad, he gets discovered,
Why were you
and
in that
goes
apartment?
back to Italy, where he reports in, and then he gets this last assignment, and the person's like, yeah, you can retire after this assignment.
He wants to know if I love my son enough to save him.
So his assignment is essentially has to build this
that means
gun.
There's some part of me that knows where Sean is.
Into Italy.
The only way to find him is to go through these trials.
Kind of slow movie. It's really artsy.
Why can't you tell
the
that to the
photography
police?
is really good, but in some ways I feel like it's a movie where
who drowned his victims and has kidnapped his own
son. I want a reason to go to
They never let me
Italy for
go,
work
and I have to stay
around.
free to save Sean.
And that was pretty much
I have
this
no
movie.
choice. I'm his only
chance. It was a lot better the
chance.
second time. But
When Sean is out of danger,
it was just,
I'll turn
I
myself in, but
recommend
not
it if you
until
like
then.
slow movies. But there's not a lot of talking. There's a lot of good photography. There is a lot of.
You can't keep going like this. You're destroying yourself, Ethan.
So don't watch it with kids. But it's a pretty
Finding
good
Sean
movie.
is the only thing that matters.
And it holds up well on Blu-ray. Some movies don't hold up that well on Blu-ray.
There has to be another way.
You don't understand. Time is running out. Sean will be dead in a few hours. I have no choice. Please, Madison, leave. Forget everything that's happened. There is nothing more you can do for me. If you want to help me, leave. Leave me to do this on my own.
We record Tuesdays. I broadcast Tuesdays. Reruns on Thursdays. Wednesday is Creative Stream, and then rerun of Creative Stream is on Friday, and sometimes it goes into the weekend. But it's just as my schedule approves. But it's Wednesday and Friday for Creative, Tuesday and Thursday for Gameplay. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.